Hello, this is Karen Albert from isitallaboutme.com. With us this evening we have Josef Cannon, writer, producer, director, and actor, an all-around Renaissance man. Thank you for being with us this evening, Josef.
Thank you for having me.
We have some questions that we'd like to ask you about your profession in the entertainment world. So, how did you get started in the acting business?
When I was a kid, I had a speech impediment where I used to stutter very badly. And so, to hide the stuttering, I turned to the written word. I began to write a lot. And so, I would camouflage my inability to speak without stammering over my words by reading ahead. And so, when it came time for me to do public speaking, even my teachers assumed that I was able to speak fluently, and not the fact that I was just practicing ahead. And so subsequently it took on the life of an actor, because that's basically what actors do. They take the script, they take the lines, they study the words, and then they interpret them in a way that the audience is able to receive it. So I was able to take that approach that I actually used just to overcome my stuttering, and it led me into the acting.
You're directing now. Can you tell me how that came about?
Yes, I'm doing a film entitled The Evil Mrs. Wood with some amazing actors that I know and I've had the pleasure of working with before. And how this came about was I just got back from Paris, where I worked with an amazing director named Brendan J. Carter. We did a film entitled Le Jeu de Paix. And I watched him, and I envied how he was able to take his crew and these actors and actresses and bring out the best in all of us. It's not a very easy task. So when I returned back to America, I had the opportunity to direct this piece, and I jumped at it. It was something that I found to be very interesting. And I think that I have just the right temperament that may be an asset to this particular piece.
Did you use any visualization techniques while rising to the top?
Yes. It's called the fear of unemployment. There's something about visualizing, not having a job, not succeeding, not attaining your goals and your dreams, that somehow or another allowed me to focus in on the journey. I've been able to, fortunately enough, be out here in Los Angeles and not be part of a lot of what you expect to happen to an actor, writer, whatever, who comes out here, how they can sometimes get caught up in it. I never really got caught up, so I was able to keep my eyes on the prize, so to speak. I wouldn't classify myself as making it to the top, because I think that varies for every individual. I don't think I'll ever make it, because I'm constantly setting bigger goals and bigger challenges for myself. But I think, yes, I did visualize, just knowing that this is where I always wanted to be. To be honest with you, I know sometimes, I watch the award shows, and one of the questions that I remember when I would see an actor or an actress, and they would always ask them, did you ever see yourself in this position? And everyone got up there and they had tears in their eyes, and they would say, no, I never imagined I would be here. Well, I did. I've always imagined it from a little kid. And I think sometimes we make our mistakes as entertainers and not giving back to other dreamers who have stood in front of that mirror with that toothbrush, with that comb, and recited that Oscar-winning speech, that Grammy-winning speech, that Emmy-winning speech. I mean, I've always felt that I would attain this to the point to where I even have a speech for Best Actress I mean, I prepared every speech possible. Some may think that's arrogant. I think that pretty much is indicative of anyone in this industry. I think if you don't see yourself as succeeding, then you actually see yourself as failing. So, yeah, I visualize this from the day I can remember.
So Joseph, what kept you moving forward through all of this? How did you stay motivated?
This is the depressing part of the interview that I'm sure some of your viewers are going to think, but those who know of me and know my story, they know that my daughter Shelby was abducted in 1998. And so if there's anything that would keep a person, a parent, anyone motivated, it is the search and desire to finding their child. Fortunately for me, I was blessed enough 5 years later to find her. There's a Sinclair Cannon child abduction prevention law that was written by Larry Sinclair Jr. Larry Sinclair Sr. For Shelby Cannon and Larry Sinclair Jr., both children who were abducted. I became a part of that law and trying to bring awareness and attention to the plight of missing children. And if there's anything that inspired me, it was knowing that my daughter was out there and hoping that through my success in film and television, in front or behind the camera, somehow or another she would know that I was out there looking for her. I mean, sometimes we think that entertainers get into a particular field because they like to be in the limelight, you know. And to a certain degree, I did enjoy the limelight, but it was more so because I knew the bigger picture and what it would be able to allow me to do, and hopefully it would allow me to be able to use that exposure to find my kid, and subsequently I did. So yeah, that is what has motivated me and continues to motivate me. You know, 3 separate simple words: Shelby Nicole Cannon. That's my motivation.
So for you personally, was your motivation to be an actor and director of movies?
No, it was to tell stories. I love being a storyteller. Ironically, my favorite singer of all time is Barry Manilow. Yeah, you heard correctly. I said Barry Manilow. And what I loved about Barry is I felt that he was the most amazing storyteller. If you listen to any of his songs, there was just something about the way that he painted a picture so vividly. And when I was younger, I would listen to his music, and I saw very clearly everything that he sang about. And I wanted to be able to emulate that as a director, as a writer, as an actor, to the point to where I could tell a story or be in a story that allowed people to feel like they were there. They were right there in the moment. So that's one of the main reasons, probably the only reason why I really wanted to do some acting and writing and directing, is to be able to be a storyteller.
What type of action steps did you need to take in order to get where you are today? Acting classes, practice with buddies in front of the camera, acting coaches?
I took the, I think, a more unconventional route. I don't think everyone is meant to get to the same place the same way. You know, I think some people, they thrive on taking classes and having acting coaches and things of that sort. I think for me, it just came from just living life, you know.
So, Joseph, was there anybody in particular that inspired you?
Yes, there was. There was a buddy of mine named Tim Mcauley. I had just gotten the audition to do the film The Eagle Path, which I eventually ended up landing and filming in Thailand for 6 months. But initially when I got the audition, I chose not to go. And I remember talking to Tim about it. He says, now, why would you do that? You know, I said, what do you mean why would I do that? I said, and he looked at me and said, so you turning down this audition makes sense. How? And it didn't. And I remember going home thinking, you know, how badly I messed up. But something strange happened because I kept coming back to work with the sides for the script, reading as if I had the audition, and I didn't. And 2 or 3 weeks later, I guess they didn't find who they were looking for, and this same casting director called me again, asking me if I would come in. This time, without hesitation, I said yes. And it was that film that I landed. And it was from that film that everything else seemed to have followed suit from. So, if there's one person that I could say inspired me, it would definitely be Tim. Because, you know, sometimes we make bonehead decisions for boneheaded reasons. And it was good to have a friend there who made me realize I needed to get out of my own way. So, thank you, Tim.
Do you actively practice gratitude? Do you create a list on paper or mental of the good fortune God has granted you in your life?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I am so grateful because of so many amazing people that have stood by me. None of this has been about me, even though there may have been moments where it may have appeared it was all about me, but it wasn't. I've always known that in order to be able to accomplish the thing that I set out to do, I had to be driven. And sometimes in the process of being driven, you step on some toes and hurt some feelings. But I am so grateful because without any of them, I wouldn't be nowhere near where I am right now. So, yeah, I'm extremely grateful.